Hello everyone. What we're going to do now is look at how we create videos by looking at the camera. So how does the camera actions, the camera effects can be used to create an interesting animation, which in fact is a video. So we're going to first open the file. We need a scene, of course, to do something. And what we're going to do, we're going to use a file from a previous exercise. So we're going to use, for example, this file, which includes the Rubik's cube and then few lights. We need the one where there's no texture mapping or anything. So we try another one. So 5.1. And here we are. So we have now a file which has basically two lights. One is spotlight and one is a directional light. And we're gonna add another light on this side. And what you're gonna do, you're gonna move the light around so that visually it looks interesting. So we move these in this plan. So yeah, you tell me, why is it taking so long? That's not good. Why is it taking so long? So here, yeah. Okay. Then you're going to move the spotlight a bit closer to the object. Make sure that there seems to be in the right place. Okay, so we need to lower it significantly. It's too low. Sorry, the computer is slow for some reasons. Okay, so now we can have a look. Do we have a nice thing? Yeah, okay. So now we've created that. We're going to the top view. And we might want to move things a little bit further, just to create a bit of variety of where the lights are. We don't want the lights everywhere. And then we're going to add another spotlight. And we have standard. We've done that before. Target spot. Put a spotlight here. Okay. So now we can move things. We move the target. Take the target here. So sorry, the light. Yeah, so we delete the light because there's two lights. For some reason my computer is slow, which might need to restart. I hope not. Okay, so we're here. We select the target light. So the target of the light of the spotlight. Why is it taking so long? And then we put it in the right where is it? Front. Okay, so I always put it right in the center of the so it's going to be a very slow. Okay, that's done. That's right at the center of the cube. And then we move the light because it's a bit, so we put it here. we move it up. And we move it a little bit out. We'll get there at some point. Okay, then we can modify it, and we have again we have the hot beam. We put 15 5, and then 10, and that's what we have. And when we rotate, so we might want to move the light a little bit further away. And a bit higher. And that's it. So what we do next is, before we do anything else, we save it. So this is save as, and this is example 6. Remember always to save, because we'll have something crashing at some point. So now that we've done that, we can start doing some animation. So what we need to do is an animation. If we can see at the bottom here, we have this line here, and it's called this one is the frame line, and it's at the bottom, the timeline, sorry, and it's at the bottom of the picture. Here's our timeline. And at the moment it has 100 frames and 30 frames per second. So when you have 100 frames, that's around 90, so it's a bit more than 3 seconds. So we need something a bit longer. So we need something that's going to last like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's at 12 seconds times 30. That's 3600. So what we do, we click on this little time configuration, we change that to 3600, and we say OK. And now we have these frames that are 306. The timeline is long, it's 306,000 seconds long. What we also change is we're going to start making some animation. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a camera first. So we camera, it's a target camera, and we click and we drag. So the same story. And what we need to do is make sure our camera is in the right place and targeting the right object. So again, we change our target to be right inside the cube. So here we are, it's right in the center of the cube. And now we have a camera that targets the cube. Next, what we do, we're going to try to make sure the camera is not too far and it's in the right place. So we move it forward. And now we have a better view, and it's a bit higher. Yeah, okay. And as you see, it's always pointing towards the cube. So now we've done that, we can then start doing a few things with it. We can first change the view here to the camera view, and we can rename it. So this is camera, master camera. So give them names that make sense. And we can change this to the view of the camera, so we can see what the camera view. So here, so we change to master camera, and this is what our camera view, what camera see. So what we can do now is we can start making an animation, and there are a few things we can do. The first thing we can do, we can start with so we have auto key and we have set key. We can start with set key, and what we're going to do, so we have this view here, and we have the keyframe here. We go to the end, and we have the keyframe. So we know that at the end, at the start is exactly the same, regardless of what we do in between. Then we're going to start doing things. So we know that roughly every 3 seconds, so 30 frame is 1 second. So we're going to do every 300, we're going to start moving the camera around. So we're going to move it in the plan first. So we're going to move that, so we're here. We're going to create a new key, and this time, so we started here, we're gonna move it to here, and we're gonna have a keyframe added here. Then we're gonna move again 300, and we're gonna move that again here, and you're gonna add a key. Then we're gonna move 300, and you're gonna move here, and we have a key. And then we are gonna move around here, and we're gonna move 300, and you're gonna add, also you need to be approximately correct, and we add a key. And then we're gonna take this key here, and we're gonna copy it. So sorry, what am I doing here? So we are here, and that goes back here. Yeah, okay. So what we can do next is we can look at it differently, and we can see what happens. And we can do something here. If that's the XYZ of the camera, we can make sure that the so we need to zoom in. Yeah, so we have this curve, and what you can do is XYZ position that change, and you have to bring them back where they are here. So what you can do is we can add so we can add a key here, or we can add a key. So we add it here, and you can make sure that from here, sorry, I need to move that. So from here is the same, and we can put it at 1600. So there's different ways of doing the same animation. What I'm trying to do here is to make sure we go back to the original position. Yeah. Then I can do the same here, add a key, which is here for the green. And notice that the Z is not really changing, but I will nonetheless put the key for that later maybe. So what I do now is I move that here, here, yeah, and then I have that's the X, the Y, and the Z position, no change, and then the roll angle, no change, and the scale. So I'll make sure these are all highlighted, and I make sure to add keyframe to all of them, because I can play with that later if I want. Okay, so I can close this, and I can go back here, and this is what I have. So I can add a keyframe here, and that's what I have. So now what I can do is I can look at what the camera views. So I change that to default shading, and when I play, this is the effect that I'm gonna have. Is that good? Yeah, it's okay, it's nice, it's fun, I can do these things. It's basically going around, okay? Now I can do a little bit of things to make it a bit more interesting. So if I go again to the curve view, and then I take the camera, is the camera, is the camera. Oh, what am I looking at here? Hang on. So, okay, so that's what we have. And close. And yeah. I'm sorry, I have to select. So now we need to make sure. Okay. So now we have again what we had with our camera, but we can change also the Z position. So we can highlight the Z position, and we can do, for example, something something like this. And then what you're going to see now, if you close this and you play the animation, you can see the camera going up and down. So you see it's going up above the cube, and then it's going to come back to the same level. And then it's going to go up. So we can do variation like this about different parameters of the camera and give us a nice animation of the, sorry, a nice effect on the animation. What we can do next is a bit more interesting, is we can do something else, which I'm going to start in a minute. What you can see here as well is that if you click on the other frame, you can see how the camera is moving according to the animation. So you can see your animation moving in any of the animation, in any of the view, top, front, perspective, or camera view, and see what the effects are. So that's camera, master camera. We're going to create another camera and we're going to do something slightly different. So we stop the animation and we go back to 0 because that's how I like to work. And now we're going to add a new camera, which is again a target camera, and again the same story. So we make sure the camera target is on. So we have top, front, and then we'll have a left or right. So we make sure the target, we click here, target is on the cube, so it's on the cube, okay, and we put it inside the cube, okay, that basically put it pleasantly inside the cube. And this one we're going to call it something different. So it's camera, one target. This one you're going to call it pathway camera. Pathway. So camera path rather. So we give it name that makes sense. Okay, so this is our camera path. This was master camera. This is camera path. This is our first camera, master camera. This is the camera path. And now what you're going to do, you're going to create a path that the camera is going to follow. So to do that, we're going to go on the top view and we're going to create a nice little path for it. So we're going to go into create, and this time we're going to create a spline and we're going to create a circle. So you create a circle in the middle, going like this. And what you're going to do is we're going to attach this, we're going to assign this camera to, we're going to constrain the path of the camera to this circle. But before we do that, we have selected this circle. We're going to click on the contextual menu, sorry, so we have the circle one, and we're going to convert this into an editable poly, and we change its name. So before we do anything, we change its name. So it become camera path 1. And then now that we've changed, we're going to go into the, we take this and we're going to edit. So we're going to check the, yeah, so we've edited. And then we're going to take, I don't like this circle. We're going to make a circle that's a bit better. So go back here, delete that, we create a new circle, and like this, a bit bigger maybe, yeah. And then we change it to convert to editable poly. And then we start changing the and then what we no, that's not what I want. Why is it doing that to me? Earlier it worked and now it doesn't work. Never mind, let's try it again. So we have select object, we do a circle from the center and like this, and then we so 23 is 24,000. Okay, so then we take this, we change it to a curve editor. No, that's not what we want. We want to change it to editable poly. And we want to move this. No, that's not what I want, sorry. Why is it doing that? Can't believe that. I did a few minutes ago and I'm saying this. So, we don't want this, we want this, and we want, we just want a circle basically. Center, and then we have that here, and we change the parameters here to 22,000. Sorry, 22,000, 2,200. And we have reduce number of slides. Yeah, and that's basically what you want to do, and that's okay. And then we can edit. So we select our circle and we go to edit it, and you convert it to editable poly. I don't know why it's doing that, but was it not editable poly? Was it editable spline? Oh, sorry, I'll do that now. I did it 2 minutes ago and I forgot. That's typical me here. So now we go convert to, okay, yeah, sorry, editable spline. And then we select the different, and then we do something like this. So we create an interesting okay, now we've done that. We go to animation, we go to constraint, so we select the camera. So we have to make sure we select the right camera. So that's done. Then we select the camera. This is a camera path, and this is master camera, so it's camera path. We can change this view to the camera path to make sure we see what the camera sees. And then we go to animation, we go to constraint, and we go to path constraint. And then when you've done the path constraint, we select the path. And that constrains the path. And then when we do that, the camera follows the path around. And you can see on the top screen how the camera, so if we do this and change to default shading, and you maximize that, and we play it, this is what you get. So you might want to reduce the number of frames, you want to extend the number of frames, but that's what we get. Sorry about the mess between editing polyline and editing a spline. Forgot. Then what we need to do once we've done that is something else. What we can do is to create a video. So we stop this, so we are happy with that. We go to F10. That opens the rendering setup, and then we make sure we frame the whole, we render the whole thing. So we select a good ratio, 1270, and we say all the frame active time segment. And what we also do is we render the output, we select the output, save to file. So we're gonna save an AVI and we're gonna call it animation 6, sorry, and make sure it's in the same folder and everything else so we don't know where it is. So if you go to documents and save it here, and now we've done that, we're going to put a little quality rather than high quality. So yeah, that should be okay. So we're looking at the right camera path and then render. It's going to take so much time, and by the end we have the video of the animation. And that should give us our animation. So you'll see the file rendering at the end. It's in the same folder than the other files. Thank you.